Why did the nail technician call the police after seeing what was hidden under my gel manicure? I was getting my regular monthly manicure at this little salon near my college. The nail tech, Annie, had been doing my nails for almost 2 years, so we knew each other pretty well. She always asked about my classes, and I'd update her on my crazy roommate drama. That day was supposed to be just another normal appointment. I'd been wearing the same gel manicure for about 3 weeks, which was way longer than usual. Normally I'd come in every 2 weeks like clockwork, but finals were killing me and I kept putting it off. The polish was chipped and grown out, and honestly looked pretty gross. Annie noticed right away, and made a joke about how I must be really stressed to let my nails get that bad. She started the removal process, soaking my nails in that acetone bowl thing they always use, but when she began filing off the old gel, she stopped mid-stroke and got this weird look on her face. She grabbed her little nail file and started scraping more carefully at my ring finger. I was scrolling through my phone, not really paying attention, when I heard her gasp. I looked up and saw her staring at my nail with this shocked expression. She grabbed a magnifying glass from her station and looked even closer. Then she called over her coworker in this hushed, urgent voice. The other lady came over and they both started examining my finger, whispering in their language. That's when I got nervous and asked what was wrong. Annie looked at me with these wide eyes and said she needed to call someone. I was like, call who? What's happening? She wouldn't tell me, just kept saying she had to make a phone call. She left me sitting there with my hands still in the acetone bowl, completely freaking out. Through the window, I could see her on her phone outside, gesturing wildly and talking really fast. My heart was racing because I had no idea what she could have possibly found under my nail polish. I started imagining all sorts of horrible scenarios like some weird infection or disease. When she came back in, she had this serious look on her face and told me we needed to wait for someone to arrive. I demanded to know what was going on, and she finally showed me what she'd found. Under the gel polish on my ring finger, there were tiny scratches and marks that spelled out letters. It took me a minute to realize what it said, but when I did, my blood went cold. It said, "Help me," in these tiny, desperate scratches that had been carved into my nail bed and covered up with polish. The thing is, I had absolutely no memory of doing that, none whatsoever, but there it was, clear as day under the magnifying glass. 20 minutes later, 2 police officers walked into the salon. Annie had called them because she thought someone was holding me against my will, and I'd tried to send a message through my nails. The officers sat me down and started asking all these questions about my living situation, if anyone was hurting me, if I felt safe at home. I kept insisting I was fine, that I had no idea how those marks got there. But as I was talking to them, these weird flashes started coming back to me. I remembered being really drunk at a party about a month ago, and my boyfriend Jake getting really angry with me for talking to other guys. I remembered him grabbing my wrist really hard and dragging me to his car. The rest of that night was mostly a blur, but I started remembering being in his apartment, feeling scared and trapped. I remembered him taking my phone and not letting me leave, and I remembered sitting on his bathroom floor, crying and using a safety pin to scratch those letters into my nail, then painting over them the next morning. It all came flooding back, and I started crying right there in the nail salon. The officers exchanged this look, and one of them asked if there was someone they should call. I realized Jake had been controlling way more of my life than I'd admitted to myself. He'd isolated me from my friends, monitored my social media, and that night wasn't the first time he'd scared me. The police took photos of my nails and gave me information about domestic violence resources. Annie refused to let me pay for the appointment and hugged me before I left. She said she'd seen similar situations before and always trusted her instincts when something seemed off. I broke up with Jake that same day over text and blocked him on everything.